player, but while we still got minus with us, let's absolutely throw it where we need to. It's the Mirage, the beginning of the series. Nuke up next door and then Ancient if we need it.
To be frank, we didn't really talk a whole hell of a lot about this Akimbo team right
No,
now.
we did.
As you can see them starting on this T side, offensively working their way towards B, and actually fitting in a stand-in and substitute right now in Zamga for ZY. That is going to be a little bit awkward to try and work through, but we'll see what they've got.
So they approach right into B here. Zamga has been seen into some good competition, so we'll see what the young man's got. Fruit Cup up top. He's going to be immediately checking into Pew Pew, and it's Neo that's going to follow right alongside. He's got 2 already immediately in the bag, Tony. This is looking good.
Yep, Darty trying to be a positional hold for the rest of his team to get on site. He's got the smoke, got the kit. He's going to be the man on the mission to try and get atop the bomb eventually, or maybe someone else to try and find what will drop should he leave a felon. Snap makes his way through. Evox player, Laxi can't do a damn thing, and exposed from both. Oh, the backside to the site, as well as from Cat, where another CT was moments ago. The smoke exposed. Darty still stays alive, and Obi missing that one may have been this round's undoing, because Darty's going for the stick. Knight's not full.
Oh my god!
Eventually Zamga will, but no, he can't find it. Zamga, what are you doing, man? He's only then just started to slash.
He just pulled the knife way too late, and Zamga, the sub, is already going to be under some heat, some pressure alongside. That's really tough for you. That is really tough for you already. Snap with a great jab back. I can kind of whip into a conversation just briefly. I do really want to talk more about this Akimbo roster because there's some spicy stuff over here, but I know that you were, kind of mentioning that you're popping off the paper right now, and Snap is looking like their highest rated player.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit awkward time for Akimbo now, having benched Cameron not so recently, or him leaving a mutual departure of ways perhaps now. Also participating with the substitutes a little awkward, as Snap shows us more. It's exactly what you come to expect from a round up against like this, though, as the last left remaining is Pew Pew. They can chain out the guns and... What?
This is the full force of the bomb plan. It looks like they get melted with Glocks. That is crazy work.
They got Deagles and no head armor on a couple guys, no?
May have lost that. I think we had a couple Galils across the board. We'll have to get that investigation.
Did they sacrifice head armor for that? Because wicked.
That's like, I think that's what I would do, and you should never do what I do.
Get the buy mark.
Oh, maybe too much. Maybe too much, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? I just got to. I mentioned to you in the pregame that we got to.
Confirmation, by the way, really quickly, that 3 of the 4 Galils didn't have head armor.
Wow. Yeah, that's a financial choice. Financial choice. And look at the books right now. They're going to keep a bit below 2K per player. But when we were commentating the first Rivalry Cup, I believe in February, Tony, it was Pew Pew that was that 6th player for Akimbo that we watched win that Cash Cup, and that was significant. Laxi going to get this on to minus in upper B. That's the anchor gone, and now to duel with Fruit Cup.
Molly to force him into an open angle. Actually, he's playing around that right pillar well enough, and everyone else had gotten here in time, and they still leave Darty to his responsibilities anchoring down A. That's good. He's one to be trusted. Been doing it for one too many a time to be let loose, and cut loose is Pew 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 on his very late, but desperate with no other real precautions. Nothing really he could do about that one, and Obi left to his own devices. Bottom side mid, Deagle only in hand, no armor. This was going to be their quote-unquote save, but the next round's still going to be a little bit strapped for cash if they wanted to go for the fullest, Mark.
Yeah, certainly so. It's going to be a bit limiting for the Puggy project, as we've always kind of known Akimbo to be, a bit sporadic and a bit unpredictable. That's how they like to play it, and it's worked for them a lot. They were a team that, did not get relegated from ECL or waiting another chance to, go ahead and go about it. They did run it up in advance and went quite far in the playoffs, and when I did get to see them, they were playing with Pew Pew, and I mean, as an official 6-man, as we would like, I think, come to dawn it on. Maybe, officially joining the roster now, they're filling in for Cameron, where I got to hop on with them later in the postseason, and I think that happened somewhere towards the end of the regular season, just within their officials that they were playing online. Replacing Cameron, that is.
Sure.
Ends up with the Nade guy onto Party Astronauts.
The Nade guy?
Austin CS? I'm sure
Right.
you've heard about this.
It's true. Think he doesn't like being the nade guy, but he likes being the nade guy as well. It's kind of like a little bit of
He
a
does like
give and
being
take.
the nade guy. He shows up to events on like the second
does
or
embrace
third
it.
day with a hoodie that says the nade guy. So
Neo has
he also
5 of this team's 6 kills,
wears
by
a
the way.
hat. That is a lot of work done by Neo. It's gonna have to probably get a bit more from the rest of the crew here, a bit more assistance if Obi is to kind of be. I feel like the man that I'm expecting to be head of the pack here. Obi so dangerous alongside Rosalie. We're gonna miss CY today, formerly known as Crawls for people that have been watching this Akimbo group for a little while. He had a name change about a year ago. Oh, we just find this kill that I'm serving up. Just canceled out, and Fruit Cup absolutely balling there at the top of connector. It seems like a bit of revenge has been served. Double time from Palace.
Yeah, Darty's on such low HP, sitting under balcony there with not really anywhere to go. He's exposed and left. Now into the ground, become one with the earth and minus. Can't do anything about Laxi, who swings beyond default, or rather, oh yeah, that is default. What am I, stupid?
No.
I was gonna say triple, I get them confused every now and then. When you're sporadically calling. But Laxi getting a major injection of individualism into this map. So many kills contributed, Neo only having to get the one. It's big effort from Fruit Cup and Khan, though, obviously not fully expecting there to be a third player who was tucked and waiting after he had just decimated the other two teammates. But flying up the catwalk, Neo takes Snav into a very dangerous territory to where now he needs to pull all the way deeper and deeper in their spawn at 9 health. Does he go for a light switch?
That does get pulled back. It's a bit tough for them. Use this smoke, not respecting the rules for it. Run in through 2 stairs. The investigation does find, I believe that's Darty in the bomb site right alongside, and Neo does get removed. They have all this space, but right here the smoke did dissipate in front of Jungle, Tony. It's been a minute to get this bomb down.
They've at least fended them off from the front ends of making it through Murder Hole. That's the first step. Minus, last time we'd seen him at this duel, didn't do very well, but it was Laxi on the other side, and Pew not going to live up to those standards. It's still a 2 versus 2 to where Snav, being so low on HP, is going to be the man of point with no smokes, but flashbangs that could be useful. They have to get themselves in a position to throw them, though, and in these scenarios, using your gun and staying fully equipped for the fight is probably the best case. And I think Snav realizes now that once Minus was unable to make the final incision to a potential defusal, he's better off hightailing it out of there. He's got a kit, AK-47, barely any HP on him to justify going for it. 3-2. Akimbo slowly but surely bringing it back, and it's based on the fact that all 3 of their, or rather, excuse me, 2 of their rounds are off the back of multi-kills to the point of 3 or 4.
And it's sort of in the same fashion, bulling up kind of in these more sort of puggier ends of the default, finding the direction you exactly want to find this to go. It's simple, but it's sweet from Akimbo. And that time it's Obi that gets 3 frags right there to exactly turn it up. It's been a couple of subs that they have played with here alongside where these moves have, gone down. They had Dante Morin in for the Aether series around, played with that Aetheris Worms mix. So it's been a little bit uncomfortable for Akimbo at times, but I mean, we can even think before that. I know Taggy had some time for this. There's that headshot in for Minus. We'll get back to the politics in a minute. You may get a measure here. I'm just not loving Neo's back turn to this connector smoke, but it may be actually Neo that walks through it. No way. Just right back to back with Darty here on the stairs. Darty should see him out of the corner of his eye. Neo, he just swipes back to punish, and this is going to be an awkward pace for Boss.
Could have been something wild. Could have been Darty just turning the round on its head with an AK to play around that smoke and maybe shut out a couple more Akimbo players without vision to find through. But this Neo performance so far is starting to shape up to one that we'd come to anticipate given what he's put forth throughout this tournament thus far. As far as players who have actually made it into the playoffs period, he is the 2nd highest rated of those players, tailing considerably behind Junior, who was at a 1.49 at the 2nd highest rated for the tournament, as it were. Absolutely incredible scenes for the both of those players, but now, as far as the last standing would be concerned, it's Snav excuse me, Fruit Cup with the Desert Eagle, who's put down pew pew pew. Well done for that, but now just consolations if they're gonna give it up to him, which would be unwise. And he will at least get a couple of feel-good shots.
Not the ones you want to be giving over to Fruit Cup backs through 6 rounds, as 9 frags. It's a Mirage, though. We want to be seeing more from our Opper. Slight having a bit of a slow start, but where this is kind of slow, it's a bit cooler in the last 3 for the CT side. It's a big buy. They get back up now, Tony. We'll see if they're able to change the tone. Neo with a really good mid spawn is about to make it happen. We'll see how this approach pays off. Awfully hot in that 7 frag start, but no spotting onto Fruit Cup, who gets down into lower. Now spotting this up. This is a free kill. He gets onto Darty, fading out.
He's out of there, but his teammates very much so locked in even so. Fruit Cup spotting only the tail end of Obi, is able to figure him out, and Snav on his walk-up is actually much less successful and loses what would have been a man equal. Minus looking to rectify it, and a swing from Cat and Window and Khan, a triad of players. Trio, triad, you get the picture.
Trio will work. Fruit Cup up top, that will not really have the easiest time trying to accomplish the same. Big nade. That is going to be so bothersome if Neo stays on a spot like this. Don't you dare try and attempt hit shots like that. Not tonight. It may just be magnetic. So is the headshot at his slight. This is a clutch that you would love for him to go ahead and steal, but a Molotov that is just going to taunt him out. Look at the pace. Look at the time. No kit on his behind. He's going to have to get out of here, Tony. May take one more and a bit of a spray all the way out. Laxi will be close alone, but should have enough to get that bomb plant. Akimbo. They rolled a 4 in a row.
Starting to get on a real heater. Still top of the server is Fruit Cup, but every round after round, it feels that Neo is on his tail. And, I mean, they were on their tail. They've caught up to it. Grabbed a hold of it. T side feeling much more financially stable at this point in time than once upon a time, but boss, the same cannot be said. I mean, they're in an awkward spot, and how much longer do they have to afford to go for full buys is the question today, as they have dropped so many rounds. Their lost bonus is swelled, and Slight, with the only rifle that they have carried through, is going to have to do a heavy amount of lifting. Minus late to boost Slight, who has that rifle in towards ladder. Maybe he's got the on somebody, but no, Laxi's actually fully prepared for it. He's seen this one before. They're not leaving any stone unturned, and Neo is being given full reign to walk up with a timing once again. Previously towards Catwalk, now towards the apartments. In the first 20 seconds, we've seen him get full vision onto what nobody jump spotting Van, nobody even peeking from backside sight.
Nobody even, Tony. It's a slow one. There's no type of peak that's back from Slight, though he is not the one that really needs to kind of cut that next step. Minus may take a look about that before the smoke does bloom. Doesn't seem to find much, but there still is attention brought about this. Brought back to B as well. Minus does get over right in time to assist potentially to Fruit Cup, but I mean, it's being brought at both sides. Snab, he's going to be right along the extremity, but just in the incorrect manner. All of this is going to be coming past him at A, and Boss are going to see Akimbo into an open sight, but Snab is looking like he wants to thread the needle. The smoke is going to come down right in front of Slight and sees Laxi up into connector. It's a 5 versus 3 with 30 seconds left, and make it a 5 versus 2. This is a big round to step up for Slight.
The off of Obi is going to have to zone out some frags. He's going to have to be the one to isolate something after that bomb is planted. The smoke a little bit wide and overcome. They would be able to see him if they'd gone for a spot, but Darty loses his head. CT is open, and they're going to set themselves apart from one another. Mark Zamka's flash could come into play late, could be a difference maker for Obi to maybe swing wide from the ramp. But more so than anything else, it is going to have to be these CTs that conglomerate, that put themselves together and gel, because those bodies are going to be everything. The numbers doubly so. The SMG put down before a shot can leave the chamber. One spotted, but no more from Obi. All onto Zamka, sound of the tap, full onto the stick, and minus around the smoke. And on the edge of it, you will find in the fourth, in the most unlikely of scenarios, the one rifle as well as the people surrounding him will get it done.
This is great energy brought back by Boss in the retake right now. Actually, to get that down, confident around this smoke. Big plays out there for Minus, who To be honest with you, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to sort of get involved. I mean, being where he's at, the anchor position, you want to see him get really active within those retakes. Now he's going to pick himself a second AWP. This is how he wants to make a difference over where he can. But Akimbo, they have a bit of a bag to this, that they're going to be sort of reaching to the end. Potential kind of flip to it in round 9.
Eagle for Pew 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 and a Tech 9 for Zamga. Left to play on wider ends of the map, but dealing with minus N2O, excuse me, Neo knows that he can speed up just that little bit more, but maybe too fast, maybe too quick, loses the ability to retrieve that weapon without exposing themselves, and Zamga was the one who had wanted it. He's not going to go too far beyond. He's not going to make the same mistake his teammate had previously, but without that, a 4v4, to which still would favor Akimbo in some ways, but they're going to need to find themselves just one more timing, just one more move made in the right moment, and they may have gotten themselves a good awning. Bit of smoke towards ramp leaves Laxi much more constipated.
Excuse you. What a feeling to see when a smoke is dropped in front of you.
He's backed up. He's backed up. You getting
Not
the,
incorrect.
You getting it?
Backed up on the timing. Oh, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Well, now that feeling's cleared, you can see out of the ramp right now, but he is potentially wiped if you can see exactly what he's putting out there. It is Slight to get that down. Darty's still waiting for his turn, and it was Snab to potentially get that next burn, but Fruit Cup pretty quick on those rotates. He gets another double.
The big Steppa delivers.
Yeah, man, the Steam name. That like choked me up before. I saw that come down and I completely forgot the name of the person who got the kill. I was looking for
Oh, really?
Big Steppa on the side of my screen. It'd be quite a pickup for Boss.
You know who it is. Oh, yeah.
You know Laser on Crew, the Argentinian team, Tony? He just like changed his name to Keshkin. We can just have that immediate switch again. You can do it at any time. You're just gonna have to, you know, buy out the jersey collection that Boss has for you. Everybody that wants to see and get your number switched. There it goes. Minus with another frag. This may be a quick one against these Deagles. Akimbo have really been fanned back after a really big retake by Boss, and now they're really just trying to keep their foot on it while they can in this first half. They could potentially push it back 4-7-5. That's what Boss want.
I like how they continuously try and figure out where the aggression is going to come through from Neo, whether it be in the apartments or in mid. They've started to stuff that, and rightfully so, because it's given them so much more room to play out these early rounds when Neo isn't up in their grill, right? He's playing out not only in this catwalk swing that worked twice with the AWP, and then trying to walk it up through the apartments has worked twice over as well for at least an opening pick. And now Minus, he gets atop that ledge, swings inwardly, catches the frag out. And now maybe this could be actually something that comes back to bite them if they employ that same tactic 2 times over, because there are numbers to go with it now. It's not just one man onto the mission, but it's still as fast as ever, as you would expect from Neo at the bottom side of Connector. He wanted to get involved, but not able to help out anybody else. It looks like things may have just gotten too far away from them. Or maybe not.
Good timing for Neo. Yeah, right in front of them. It is, but at a certain point, it's going to be unavoidable for Boss. Got to take these shots. It's a really good rotation that Minus is about to serve up. It's a timing that is going to be extended by Darty staying alive within this bomb site, but I think it's about to be forced into sort of a necessary situation to swing, and Darty, he will accept that challenge. He will take it personally. It is Boss that now go to Darty, which is practically the only player who hasn't had a shining moment in the limelight. He gets that done. This is looking like a really good first half now.
Yeah, certainly. Undeniably. These guys are putting on a show. Took a minute. Just a brief one. Right back on track. Minus with that second AWP. Always a treat when you get that. Always a treat when you get the Boss double off. Even when they were known at the Blue Jays, they were known to have a player or two to wield it. Up into mid with Snap over topside to spam out. Damage converted. Pew 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 is gone. And they keep that man advantage that was once brought over by the captain, and even doubling it down, both players in mid, and they're profoundly spread.
I put the locks on Nate 4.
Ooh.
Zamga was 3 frags, unfortunately, in this first half to sub out here for Akimbo, who's been running it for the last 2-3 officials. Unfortunately, put out to sort of a disappointing feat, but Laxi, all left alone, can still make the most of this first half by winning a very accomplishable 1v2. Right out with the bomb on his back, Laxi will have space to dictate this clutch, but quickly got to get the bomb down. Minus is just about to rip this up above. Check from connector and clean. It's 8-4 for Boss. Might as well, baby. You got to get that down. See you later, Slight. Yep. Let him know, Marshall.
What the H, dude? Is this his parting gift?
Basically.
This is his goodbye. This is what the last dance consists of. Very well done this half from everybody. It would feel from Boss by the finish to double the round count to their opponent, and Fruit Cup, well, doubling the efforts of many player in the server at this stage in the game. But what could you come to expect anything less from the kid? Got Big Steppa and Big Shooter side by side right now.
Wow.
Neo doing all that he can, but everybody else feels like there's a stark contrast in the widespread firepower being given over. Laxi here and there. One triple kill from Obi that had netted them one of their 4. Otherwise, it does look a little bit disjointed to the point where the aggression starts to look a little bit less like it was calculated and a little more like it's the last shot that they have at trying to get one over on Boss.
Oh, insta-gushed. And what a life. Laxi lives. Big Steppa not done today. Neo will try and do the most from CT, but I think the most he should be doing is keeping his life alive. That wasn't actually him from CT. This is Obi that has the kit, and Neo will continue to go for it. Finally traded out, but they're going back, and it's Samga that now has a huge kill right here. Fruit Cup trying to go and get spicy with it through the smoke right next to Slide. It's seeming to work. They're going to be just separating this to go. And Samga, who just thought he got a great kill from the top of stairs, even gets that into a 1v1. What a messy round by Akimbo. And of course, Fruit Cup is going to walk it out.
It's been the name of the game the entire time, going fast and quick, but trying to finish that round way faster than they needed to. Akimbo just swinging before anybody was ready to do any sort of trading, and it feels that at every step of the way, even when they find an opening duel, it's someone who just puts themselves in a position of no return, and that round is probably, potentially, them dead in the water. Now with one more buy-in, obviously going these deep, double digits on the horizon for Boss, and should that be the case, then a save necessary for Akimbo if they want to have anything as far as equipment would go to stop them. One flash, one smoke, some SMGs, a Deagle, and a Scout mixed around in a bit of a pile. It's the Deagle trying to play contact for his teammate under the balcony, which has been burnt over and forwards. He will have to go for it soon enough and tucked to the wood. He won't be burnt out into the open, but will still nevertheless feel the necessary pressure to swing.
No way. Oh, he hit him. He hit him. All right, that counts, baby.
It was a quick scope.
You know, one step closer to the FaZe clan that you'll ever be, Tony.
What that?
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
He
he always will have been one step closer to FaZe clan than I would have ever been.
Maybe Pew Pew as well. That's a great shot. Attemptable clutch here. 3 already for Slight. I'm sure he would like to get a 4th as the Big Steppa is doing exactly that at a CT, moving all the way up to triple, and that Galil will just accomplish a bro ace between Slight and Darty.
But only if Slight says it, because the guy who gets 1 kill can't.
Oh my gosh, you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
You're the kind of guy who gets 1 kill and his teammates get 4, and he's like, "Let's go, dude, me and you."
It's these type of arbitrary rules that ruin the fun within our society. I'm just letting you know.
Right.
You got nothing to say. You got nothing to say.
I said what I had to say. I made my statement.
Nothing to say, pal. Nothing to say.
Nate's picked
Couple
Molly in
of
back
geeking
pocket.
tins.
Snav the one who's going to try and flush out the bottom side balcony. It almost looked like they wanted to actually expedite the process, but Snav wasn't quite there. Audio will be heard, and the counter utility is in, and Obi is out with a Deagle shot. Pop down to Darty, but no more safe coverage.
Neo trying to work it back. Snav -2 together, and Laxi, oh yeah. Got that down, waxed off 2 on the Deagle, and Zamga says, how do you do?
Bro.
Dropping through. Fruit Cup up for a great tally on this clutch. 17 would like to make it 18, and then eventually can ball this up to 20. He's just got to get these last two to make it do.
They
And
just
he
don't want to win.
absolutely
They just don't want to
has
win.
it.
They just don't want to win. They've actually actively decided, all three of them separately in this round, that they would like to go to the second map, please.
They're not going to get to the second map?
No, that they would like to go to the second map, please.
Gotcha. I was going to say, I would take a lot. I would take a lot.
Good gosh, 11-4, and at this rate, man, Boss are noticeably starting to have a little bit of fun with it. He just had a little bit of a refrag defender moment there, or rather refrag crossfire moment there, as they
oh my gosh,
at 3 different points. Not sponsored by, of course, but a blind minus still firing through that smoke with his crosshair placed, trained onto the window to which so many a time in his career he'd had to burst fire in before, finds Neo, and as well as gets a little bit of fear struck into the hearts of those around.
What's your favorite minus career moment? Think about that while the round comes along.
I can tell you.
We'll discuss after the round's over. Zamga's starting to turn it up. A pretty good couple of shots that they have had started in the second half, and great connection there on the Pew Pew. Not one clutch, but two. Turnered in a row. Let's see if Fruit Cup can just answer the call right now. A clean line to potentially sink onto Pew Pew, but a great double in between with the two subs on the board at the same time. I'll tell you what mine is. When he came to his first land, he got second place.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite minus moment was in ESEA Premier Season 39 against Extra Salt, where he played them on... Hey, let me finish. Hey. Where he played them on Overpass, and he out-opt OC, and it was really cool. Watching him do it.
There you go. I saw Marshall at the bar establishment later in the evening, and I may have had a drink or two, and I think I asked him how it felt to win the tournament. And then when I realized he didn't win the tournament, I said, well, you basically won the tournament. You came to the LAN, your first LAN, and got second place. That is basically winning. Am I wrong?
Production said wrong. I'm going to remain silent because this could be a determining round for Akimbo to have at least a sight line into what would be a recovery. Should be one. 6 rounds and then looking to batter back a save. That wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. It's probably the easiest way back into a match, especially to build some confidence onto the players who have really yet to show their full potential. And Laxi, one of those guys who was elevated to the level of Neo, needed sooner rather than later, and everybody else floating just kill by kill in the mid to late round as well.
Good shot in by Zamga again, putting a lot of responsibility into the sub's hands right here. And Obi, that's a fadeaway shot on top of the ticket and starting to hand him out. Gonna have to give 2 more through connector, spaced out or slight and darty. And now waiting for it. Hammer comes down, double time there from the AWP. 4 shots on par. And right here, Akimbo, they're starting to warm up a bit on this CT side. 2 in a row.
Certainly. Obi is on. Neo lobbed over the sniper rifle to where typically on the CT side is where he'll do his best work on the AWP. T side's much more willing to work with the rifle, as we've seen, and damn good with it at that point. But now giving over some of the luxuries to his teammates to use the AK-47 on defense when offered. He can absolutely make a good use of the scope. One seen, I believe, off the back of the volley, and a beautiful nade coming through from Pew Pew. Not gonna lie, there is a world where he threw that and it was meant to stop them from rushing or taking damage from a rush, but I doubt it.
Oh, does he have a, I think that AK was a souvenir from the last major. Give me the keychain. What are they adding? Here we got some Glocks coming down. I have a funny anecdote about that I think I learned on a podcast the other day. Here goes that shot. Laxi gets that down. Coordination. Here comes a great triple by Laxi. Fruit Cup to loosen this up. Oh, what do we have here? Little op.
Little op action.
With the blessing of Monacy. This has got to be something.
Up into the window he will go, maybe. No, actually sending the Desert Eagle to do the dirty work to where he'd already found 2 picks. Zamga on the outside of Murder Hole. If Fruit Cup isn't careful, he may lose his head. Darty can zone out the A site to see if either side of the triple box will find exposition for a frag to open itself to a possibility. Neither of these players really giving time over to these boss players. For the first time in the map, it feels that they've gone low and still the shadow is seen. Darty has called it, but up to the missiles, it will be a swing out wide by the fully automatic, which is better for the duel, and jumping Obi around
Air
the
Obi.
box is gonna catch him.
Air Obi, baby. So you'd love to see. 3 matching 3 in this half. It's a lot like we started the first half getting off to. But what I wanted to say was
You're doing what?
I heard this on, we got off to a nice little kind of streak in a row, both sides going. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an avid talking counter listener, and I did learn on I think on the last episode that apparently the proposal for the like dog tag thing on the souvenirs came from Blast, which is interesting. So if we host a major, Tony, what the hell are we gonna put in the game?
If we hope me and you,
Yeah, the two of us, just the two of us.
team gloves.
What? Yeah, think of something that hasn't been suggested 10 million times, buddy.
And they were cool when they got suggested.
What was the TO that had that?
Nobody.
No, there was a TO that did that for a quirky tournament, and that's why everybody said that.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
not in game.
Yeah, on their podcast.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Could have been. Oh, I think it was Star Ladder, but
Got a couple different answers on our side. A lot of Counter-Strike happening in the server, and finally the kind of turnaround of said stint by Akimbo. It's a big man advantage that is up for boss now. Neo has been automatic and will continue to roll. Has that out, and a great shot by Pew to have that, and now it's just for Neo to make this an issue. Sees a soul fading out a connector, aggressive by Snab to get all the way back up into window. This will be the play necessary to see exactly where this bomb's at. Quick check back in. Seen the shoulder by Snab, and now Slight has got to make his move. 25 to go. And now that bomb is stranded, and Snab now in a 1v1, pulling his pistol, but Snab pulling his clutch card. He's got a 4K, and he's got 12 rounds for boss.
big from the IGL once again. Feels that everybody in this server started to turn up towards the ends of map 1, both teams included, and that's best case scenario for Akimbo, but that's only because next map is their opponent's map pick. It's Nuke, but they do get a CT side beginning, so getting themselves ready and up onto the defense towards the end of Mirage, win or loss, is at least a beacon of hope.
Yeah. I think so too. Especially the way that Neo and Laxi have looked. Pew Pew been doing some really good work. I think Zamga got finally activated on this second half as well. Akimbo, though, you got to see more to make me believe. The quick trade onto Obi, and Boss would like to make this their final stint to go, but a Molotov that's only going to lock Neo out for 2 more seconds. It's actually Laxi that gets this kill onto Minus, so close to CT, but you're going to want to see that. A bit more help from the rest of the cast. Here's Slight that just fades out. That smoke perfect to just give him the cover he needs, but no! Slight missing the easy shots, and right here, they're going to have to address this problem. It's a nightmare for Slight. You're only going to be seeing those shots in your dreams, but here it's Fruit Cup. You try and attempt another clutch from Tetris. It just won't happen. That is going to be a very tough round to watch back.
Certainly a painful one to think of, but one at this point at 12 to 8 mark where your money is not looking absolutely beautiful. If you're Slight, you need to just shake your head. You need to shake your head and make sure that you're focused on these next rounds and forget that maybe that was a little bit painful to live through, but thinking about it now will do you no good. It will do you no pleasure in thinking when you're trying to get the ball rolling individually, where he had gotten so many a time earlier in this game, kills that looked like the big Steppa was with us. He can afford to miss at least 1 round. He can afford, so long as he rebounds and regains. It's these pistols that are attempting to put in some pepperage, a little bit of damage here and there. Minus taken down to 4 in the opening stages. It would be beautiful to get a kill or 2, but frankly, the buy to come in the next round will be there with or without them. It's going to have to be them maybe just diverting a plan in order to get one of the last 2 rifle rounds they'll have before potential OT. 100% efficiency.
Is that even mathematically possible? 100% efficiency?
Not with you, Mark.
Damn. Okay. It's the truth, though. It's the truth.
Nuke.
Laxi with a great kill. I don't know. I do some trolling. It's impossible to get me to things on time if that's what you mean.
No, I'm just kidding, Mark.
Now I'm being patronized. Oh God. This is not a good. It's not a good time to ring this in, Tony.
Time enough.
Series is just getting started.
So
Akimbo
too are
forces
the
to
Akimbo
overtime.
boys. Yeah. Laxi finding himself at the
First
top
match.
of the board wasn't something I
Oh.
was expecting.
It's not how it's supposed to go usually.
It wasn't unexpected, but
I mean, Laxi a goated individual. Don't get us wrong, but Obi's looked like LeBron James in the past.
is that true?
Yes. Neo currently wearing the Cavs jersey right now as an 18th, and he's really starting to go on that AWP. Would only have to actually get 3 for us to, kind of kid about this going to overtime to actually come true. Big buy up, though. I wonder if Snav has got the call.
He's got
If you're
the
Snav
move.
right now, what are you calling?
Probably the play that wins them this map and sends them to
Yeah,
Nuke.
okay, buddy. All right.
If I were Snav,
Thought you were a color caster or something.
that's usually how Snav goes. Yeah, man, you want me to break down an entire call right now, which could be the end of the game?
Is that not what I asked?
Get this guy off the broadcast. We've got AK-47s, no slight sniper. Trying to aggressively push down utility and bait it out on this B site,
your
maybe
job.
even bait a rotation, which it has. There's so many guys over in this direction to where Slight's going to be the one to sell.
You're like a Counter-Strike architect, Tony.
Yep.
Seeing these blueprints in live fashion. Loving this window boost today. Sticking Darty up there like a bug, trying to see, hear anything going on in that market rotation. Neo's still bugging this down. It's connector, a slight concern. Here's the actual movements you get down. Laxi to just feed this back. Must have, lent his hand back down and pulled Snav up. They got 2 players in window right now.
Been playing a lot of peek lately. Nice from Snav. Another opening from the
Oh
man.
my
The
God.
myth. Doubling up. Headshots looking sublime, and the opt around the bend is actually going to catch a good timing, but will they find them to get back towards spawn? Yes, they will to smoke at ramp, at least giving them that much, but it's a dry walk, Mark. They've gone past. They've gone beyond, and leaving one player already tucked so very deep in towards jungle. They know what's going on here. They know the numbers are dwindling on this defensive, to where that incendiary will not stop them from the plant, but it will pull a player off the back ends of the sight lines as he fights through
No
and
way.
beyond. No one to cover, and once more, it's Neo to be the determining factor, the deterrent to all the boss players who would look to put a clutch together so many a time. And Slight, if there was ever a time to redeem, if there was ever a time to not miss a shot, it'd be now and here. One exposed to the bomb, trying to play coverage, can only do so much, but pulls just enough of the accuracy away to when pew 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 comes swinging in, it's Neo who finishes it off. The digits are punched, and so is the ticket to a 10th.
Yeah, there was no better time to close out the game than just then for Boss. 2-man advantage, and honestly, probably the praises for quite a call and placement of that round by Snav to, win this thing out 13-9. It's denied through the hands of literally one man. Neo did a really great job there, just trying to hold his team's water on the bomb site. QQ was a great kill on those rotations, not letting anything through, Tony. This is an Akimbo that's not playing around right here. And this is an Akimbo that meant business back in advanced playoffs. They were trying to really just get warmed up with a lot of those calls. They were the last team into ECL playoffs. They really want to try and burn hot and continue to roll right now. It's a quick call. It's a quick pace here into the B site where, guess who? Neo steps back. But will they even actually let them get this far to make it an issue?
Whoa.
The answer is yes. Now Neo pulls out the P250, but an op that is going to try and get stylish. Don't give Marshall a chance. Gets the AWP now, and Laxi quite quickly into this empty pillar, but genuinely overwhelmed. Just saw that player come into Cat, and it's just too much to pay attention to. Akimbo bring us to all 24.
No, listen, I saw the vision, man. He had the AWP. If it had a bullet in it, maybe he could go for a duel before the other player deeper could have gone for a peek, but no, not quite. Just a little bit too far ways away, out of arm's reach, and certainly within grasp now. Akimbo find themselves at an overtime. Doing what they can and dropping utility deeper in towards this mid position. Boss in that they had a shot had gotten Snav into a forward stance. They'd gotten him comfortably placed to try to make a play, in which he did. That's something that we can at least rely on when it comes to these boss guys. But Neo, talk about reliability. Put something in his hands, and he will deliver. That first is his, and Big Steppa, don't show yourself all too wide because Neo's been hitting him, but a flash perfectly placed. They're back in.
Here goes a great shot. Slight opens it up. And with this page, this is where they want to put the last stamp. Avoid this overtime. Avoid what can only become a bigger issue. Here, actually wrapping to go. It's a deeper Molotov than intended onto Snav. And with one eye on the minimap, this all lines up for Boss. They even have a second scent right there at the back of connector. They have Pews trying to stick in at the right time, but it's that smoke that fades. And now Obi may actually have the advantage here. And it's Slight that has to land a very difficult shot. And right here, it's Akimbo primed for overtime.
Trying to be as silent as possible. No breath from Zamga. Eluding them. Has Snav for only so long, but only so tight of an angle. Snav in this jungle position, a monster, a machine, and one come to life, needing maybe one more further beyond that. The last we'd seen him gotten a double kill, the player was underneath Falc. It was Zamga, and Slight switches out to the AK under the balcony. It's Zamga who peeks, and timing a triple is where Slight will stall, and we're going to overtime.
Forced up by Akimbo. This was supposed to be easy. This was supposed to be all the way done. When you have Snav and Fruit Cup playing how they currently are, this should not even be a conversation. Akimbo with 2 subs force a Boss to OT.
Mirage is only the beginning. And what beginning has been. A couple Falcons fans on the walls there as you see that their money swells.
Unreal.
They get funded by the fact that we go beyond 24. Neo, ready and waiting. Now up with the op. Fast to the position. And another teammate there if they were to run him through. But hold on now. Don't go too far wide into mid. Laxi, he might be a dead man. Or no, a double! What is that? Absolutely incredible. Seems where a flash from Obi sets him up for a spectacular moment, but it's tossed away just as quickly as they had it.
Fruit Cup's kill is infectious. It gets donned by Darty right back, who tries to get tricky through the smoke. And Fruit Cup has been put into many moments to clutch, and 1 for 1 on that tally into the first of overtime. How does the most deadly member of Boss try and take this himself? The whole minute to work with, and the entire belt at his disposal. He's going to be headed towards this A site, where Obi is going to be just tucked within the A ramp, with an opportunity to potentially get the plant and then actually see into the peak onto an awaiting Fruit Cup. He goes deeper than that, Tony. I don't think this is as clear of a call as I just suppose. Maybe the B site.
I don't think so. Yeah, 30 kills. 30 kills is close, man. He can feel it. He might be exuberating that level of confidence in moments, but both players not really giving all that much as far as committal into a bomb site would be concerned, but the more of the two of them would be Pew Pew Pew, who is on the balcony, who is going to be shown if Cup walks around this bend. He should have the easiest clear of his life, but he's not giving it full thought just yet. Eventually he will. Pew 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 not looking in the right way. How could he have ever have anticipated this? The time that's been given, Fruit Cup is used, and to perfection. A full belt of utility, honest and truthfully, an issue from Fruit Cup in many a time. Having that much utility and not having utilized it to support anyone else, expecting that he's the one who's given the time and work. He's gotten it, and now it's actually come to help. A smoke drop towards market side, not needing any more utility when firepower is of potency. Fruit Cup just dancing around his opponent, wasting their time and dropping the flash to the right and not losing all that much of it. It's a full visioned Obi who finds full focus as well as a 13th.
This is a big round for Akimbo, and they take the lead for the first time. That's the first half. That was when it was 4-3, literally, to Dawn back out. 20 kills for the IGL. He cashes in on a 1v1 clutch and avoids disaster back from Boss.
Trying their hand so many a time at regaining mid. have Boss. Missed window smoke is seen problematic when the entire play almost hinges on the fact that Akimbo are going to be worried about what may or may not be going on at the top sides of mid, but as soon as the smokes and nades come raining over A, the jig will be up. Talk about the blueprint. It's been handed over to Akimbo, but a wider swing from OB without anybody there to throw a flash or even swing with him. Problematic. Zamga's much better for it. The smoke being blown. At least we go into the 3, and Darty's in the red.
Laxi just trying to play his time perfectly. It's gonna have to be a quick second shot from Neo on that op. But now Laxi with the sharpest rifle out of the shed here today on this first map. He has what it takes in this clutch, does. And Fruit Cup, he just noted when he had that distance onto Darty, he was damn low. Just under 19, takes a confident swing and a triple off the table. It is 13 the Boss throw out as well.
I really believe that that was a Laxi potential win. Both kills just barely between his crosshair and the body, where they're pixels at most. Still a tie game, neck and neck. All of the previous understandings of how this one may go effectively out the window. Alone OB on A, needing to be a little bit more conservative in their life than they were in the last, perhaps, but Neo's op is not farther than a beckoning call. If they need him, he'll arrive. And it looks like they're just going to go for Old Faithful, reliable, and make it out the A site once again. Slight post.
Don't make it too complicated. Same sort of motto for Akimbo right now. It's an easy rotation back to CT. Just pile up the numbers where there is actually strength to bear. Hard shot, he's got a hit, double time. It is lightning that strikes twice out of CT. It could be a triple right here as Neo approaches. So damn deadly as he sees a shadow, but this is where it becomes tricky for him. It's a nade beaming in. This is gonna be hot for Slight, and it just dumps him to 20. But Slight gotta go up, can't have this up the ladder twice. Slight, he's gotta go mobile and hits a great shot on par, but it's Pew Pew right next door playing bodyguard, has a double and a lead out of the first half of OT for Akimbo.
Can't even believe that this scoreboard looks the way that it does right now. Once upon a time, I would have never have given credence over to the Akimbo guys to where, honest and truthfully, losing out more rounds due to their own shortcomings rather than Boss going above and beyond, but both happening simultaneously in reality. That eventually started to fall to the wayside. It was Boss who cooled off slightly. Akimbo were given time on defense with better finances to eventually scrape round by round, and the vision was painted, and they live up to it. It's a double up setup, Slight and Snav. I was saying before, there's so many players on this team that have known to been potential at opping, and right now, man, it just doesn't seem to matter who's got the AWP. Slight, Snav, minus, simple, give it over to Neo.
Yeah, this man is going absolutely insane right here. Want to bring this man advantage and cash it in for a 15th. This is your map pick after all. Snav can't quite see through everything condensating in window right here. Fruit Cup being tempted in so far. Been so concerned about Neo all the way, but advantage out of this smoke. And this Light that can actually punish for one time. Fruit Cup tanks an op shot to the chest. He gets back up, can still breathe. There's no way Slight is still getting that done right here. It's gonna have to be more out of Snav, and it's gonna have to be real with Fruit Cup right here. They pull it back. There's an actual moment of solace within this, Tony. Where has Laxi gotten off to, they ask?
A moment of solace, but also maybe a moment of solitude for Laxi, to where he's going to have to be stoic in the moment where if they cross over, he's going to need to be the man on the mark. They've gotten themselves a weapons trade back. Snav now back on a rifle, and Fruit Cup at 19, using the AWP and hoping that no one has gone beyond CT spawn. They haven't, and Laxi may just get exactly what he wanted. Not a single shot received, and one would have been done, and Fruit Cup to clutch. He's 20 seconds left. The bomb has been exposed, let loose at the opposite side of Apex, and Laxi already made fully well aware of, and sound cues given the fact that he's still nearby in the shadow, even easier than that. It's an absolute lob up, to which a slam dunk acquired for Fruit Cup to continue their ways onwards and upwards to tie it at 14 all.
And that's Fruit Cup playing out of position. Big man back to point guard on that op. I think that's the very first Fruit Cup up kill, up clutch anyway that I've seen out of that man. Gets a great couple of looks. That's 31 he puts up on the scoreboard right here, Tony.
Not gonna lie.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
I've known him as the demolishing rifler.
Dude,
On this boss project, on the blue phase?
You could give anybody on this team an off par, maybe Darty, who I have not actually seen use one ever before, and I would be convinced.
That's saying a whole lot. That's saying a whole lot. It's,
not to be a primary opper of the team, but if I saw them with an op, I'd be like, oh, they could get a kill or two here.
Hot takes. Hot takes.
Just don't be bad at the game, and you could probably get a couple of kills with the op.
Even I'm pandering to the boss fans in the chat.
No, it's true.
With all kidding aside, I don't think this playoff, this OT any laughing matter when it's Neo trying to poke back as far. Let's see
You can
if
have
he
4
can
okay offers, but his Neo's on the other side.
Do they all add up to the strength of Neo? I think that's the question. Darty, though, gonna never give this man the op because he's got to serve him up from default with his rifle, which is currently not coming. This is Akimbo, 8-4 to 15 rounds in overtime that they force all through the hands of Neo.
All those off purchases come back to bite them, Marky. They've got MP9s. They've got no sniper rifle in sight. Slight can't even go for a glass cannon if he would have wanted to. And Neo's sitting pretty atop his throne. He's got everything he could have ever wanted and more. And Zamga finding a 3K in that round, better late than never to the multi-frag department to bring them to the stage to where more so than ever have I found myself as a believer in what Akimbo may have to bring us onto Nuke with a map advantage? Good lord. 30 minutes ago, you couldn't have paid me to believe it.
It's a rough history that Akimbo got on Nuke, right? Some of those losses are closer than others. You can give them a dime there, but they got a goose egg in terms of winning percentage. Pretty go flat in those statistics. Here, Neo to inflate some energy to try and make that damn possible. You spoke it up yourself, Tony. They're going to get that CT side first, so they can get the money right. Then I think they should be able to do damn anything because this Mirage, we served it up in the pregame. How dare you challenge this versus Snav and Go? Do you know how many times this was the pocket pick? Do you know how many times this was the punish? It is today. Back in their face. 16-14, overtime.
I haven't spoken. You can't cut me off.
You got nothing to say. You got nothing to say. I know you don't.
Not said anything. I can't be cut off.
I have nothing to say.
But even then,
it yapping.
Gonna have to see actions speak louder than words for the guys. A P250 whiteout, clean from Minus, as he's gonna be the one to look to walk it up and alone on the outside, and given full reign of this area, that smoke he'll look to phase through, and no one will be on the other side.
Yep, easy kick into A, and Zamga back at the site is going to be the welcome mat next to Laxi, and it's clean with Obi to just get a dip in. Zamga is just ripping out with 2 of his own, and now Neo to get this all the way down. Darty has already gotten 2 on this Glock. Neo to potentially grab the start that he wants, potentially. This is where he wants to grab the cash, Tony. We spoke about that world where he gets the op as quick as possible. Well, it's by grabbing this pistol round. Not a rocket scientist, but absolutely this one's simple, Tony. And that's the way Darty's treating it. He goes all the way around, still trying to stick on this A site. As Neo barely will get around the corner, he should be the first one to get eyes on now. Darty gets down to the bomb site, far enough to where he should not hear any of this. But does he get the plant behind the stage? Bomb pulled, and he does go ahead and grasp it. Neo should hear this bomb being planted now, Tony. All the way back. He thinks it's on B. Neo goes down the vents, but realizes otherwise now. Back to the A site, and now Darty sees around that corner that USP is running low. Gotta get in some new to go, and it's fresh. Right to go. Beautiful start for Akimbo.
Neo played that one very, very well. Knows that Darty had the element of surprise on him with 1:12 on the bomb. He could have gone wherever he wanted. The world was his oyster, and Neo instead plants himself in mini and just periodically checks back and forth. There's no real place for him to be shown to Darty in an awkward engagement unless the timing would have been absolutely abhorrent to where Darty, he makes his move. gets into that bomb site and gets a plant down, sure. They can at least say that with 4 players befallen from Akimbo that they can buy in without that much of a hitch, but we're going to need to see that AK-47 and Fruit Cup that had dealt so much damage in that last map do just that little bit more here on the offensive to get them back on track, because Neo, he has not let off the gas, and 1 kill is all that it'll take to show it. Side smokes over top side of it. Neo sees just enough. Minus. Sayonara, see you later. Man, advantage Laxi to play around these smokes now even tighter and closer, which could be problematic if they'd like to get up close and personal with him as well, and he thinks better of it and deepens himself to hold for the walkout, but losing the player now lower. Now questions need to be asked. Who's the rotator, boys? The ramp player is the first and foremost.
Obi to get that down, answering your question all the way from ramp. You're going to have to see that from the A site soon because smoke out. But can you even get that rotation? Trying to go through lobby. Darty puts you all the way out with the Galil. Obi gets this shot all the way through. And because the positioning is so close under the ramp, if they can continue to pull this out, it's a possibility. But it's a full house between Darty and Snav. Boss stab immediately back. Deny Akimbo. Their fruits on that consolidation of a second round. Now the energy is back to the T side.
Definitely figured at a 5 versus 4 that they were in a good point to hold out. I'm really shocked that there was a player so aggressive at the secret steps, if I'm being completely clear. That's usually an angle where you're playing for the jump spot deeper and holding for them to cross and calling over to anyone else to help you out. I mean, the numbers alone, but the weapon disparity, another. Don't give Neo the chance of a good time. Head, evading the shots. Scattered between the left and right. Snap bursts away to the door that had been blown, and Laxi's removed from the scenario of 5 versus 4 to where they, with weapon and utility advantage, are a lot less likely to be tossing this one over. Really foresee there being many moves that Akimbo can make to get shots in. It's going to have to be something miraculous.
Obi attention pulled into lockers. No contact made on the ramp. It'll be quiet for Boss. C into lower. Not convinced of this. It's too quiet, Tony. The Deagle's back. I wonder if Akimbo get this bomb plan, get the information, and literally just stand still and keep the Kevlar so they can get this 2K per player buy in the next, while having a bit of respect on it.
I mean, they should, right? Don't gotta get too big for their britches.
Heard about this.
You've lived it, Mark.
I've definitely bitten off more than I can chew. I can say that.
Okay. Nice shadow there for Pew 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 to maybe find the head of Minus, but again, playing the distance game. Not all too worried about it. Even getting Snav on the backside of Neo, leaving only Zamgo, who would push through lobby, and everything else cleared. Where else could he be? Minus spots him out and deals him the final killing blow. That's a real bro ace right there.
We have this debate. Apparently, it's not a
Not a
bro
debate.
ace when... No, it's debate.
Not a debate. It's
If I get 1 kill, you get 4 kills. It's not a bro ace if I say it's a bro ace. What if I just want to feel included, man? What if I can't get 4 kills?
Well, that's not anyone's fault except your own, unfortunately.
Are we supposed to lift our teammates up? You know, instead of putting them down?
You don't have to.
How well has that worked out for Cadian and the rest of the Danish?
All right.
Yeah.
Calling out an entire different demographic of people right now.
I'm just saying that group of players that apparently don't care about vibes and only care about how it works in the game. This is publicly known. That these players don't get along and just prefer that they can work well in the game together. I say vibes matter, Tony. What if we didn't like each other?
You're ruining my vibe right now, man. You're ruining my vibe.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Oh my gosh.
From 2 planets aside. Killed my vibe. They're trying to get themselves into a walkout once sound cues have been given by Boss to where they may have exit frags or maybe even find someone on their lurk getting out and active. Minus would be that player, so many a time a to a third. Beautifully done, but they're triangulating his position to be able to get at least 1 rifle to work with. Future is bright enough with that secured. You right, man?
Yeah? Did you think you hurt my feelings?
Yeah, you got quiet.
Well, I appreciate you asking. I'm okay. Thank you. Oh, pew 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 might not be. It's a tough life. It's a tough life. Trying to turn that notch. Boss, do that to a third. I'll quote our producer from literally just now. Snav doesn't lose, he gets even. Vincent casts.
Pretty sure.
Apparently that came from Glitch Tab. Maybe I shouldn't just be running my mouth.
Misquoting casually.
Oh, our producer. Oh, our producer.
Neo.
I can't believe you would say that.
Pressed so very deep into enemy territory, not beyond the spawn, but close enough to where he may as well be. Back's turn would be a catastrophe. But no one's going that way to where Minus was given the room before. Not seeing him now, honestly, might be a bit of an early warning sign as to the plan having been shifted.
One test. All he gets is literally that one leg from Fruit Cup practically all the way in, but it's a Molotov that barely is going to fade to the back of the site. It's so tough, especially when Laxi is going to remain a thorn in the side. Laxi is a menace right now. Won't give Boss a chance to breathe. Wants this in two. While it is ripe, it's a clutch situation. Hands on the bomb for the AWP player. And for a moment to stand up, lane wide open to the ramp. This should be a good call. A or B to go. Because potentially the wrap here to heaven be the juicier play of the two. And that's why it's appetizing for Slight.
We've seen Darty do this exact same move on the pistol, so I wonder if their heads are going to say that we've seen this one before. No, they won't. Neo will be completely caught off guard by this, but his player's been elevated and held for there so long. How could you anticipate that if you're Slight, to be honest? And Obi, who'd been elusive to their knowledge for the round. Eventually, they make themselves completely clean and clear. Their objective is terminate and exterminate. And 2-3, still Boss lead.
Are Akimbo going to get signed to Mongols Academy, Tony? Are they? Yeah. Are they, Tony? They should, bro. They should. Saw that earlier in the week. A lot of people were atting him in the comments of that tweet. Here goes Neo to get a stab. And he wants to do his best in this game. Here's my resume, he says. Gets that, a great opener. And they are putting it on Boss at the beginning of the snoop.
Neo's the difference maker at every point in time, man. This guy, he seems staying alive from that point forth. That spotted the bomb. It was dropped just against the garage to where Slight had posted so very long for OB, and he actually had given him a quick visual, but not the full vision. But now, a visionary in his own right needs to be OB in rotation around the map to dictate the pace of where the rest of Akimbo may go. It's an SMG up close and personal in through Squeaky Door. He's got very nice positioning push forth that he can give over to the rest of them, knowing outside is compromised and also knowing that Slight was in her. It's a lot, but they need to do something with it. It's not just a matter of the information game. It's a matter of putting pen to paper, and that's not going to be happening just yet. Cut the equalizer, and not being able to find Pew 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 leaves Zamga the element of surprise, and only Slight, who's already been called.
For another clutch, this time he has got that big green. Toting it aggressively with 35 to go. No other choice. Now, bomb in the hands has to make this happen. A little too obvious to go into the smoke. And now Obi to take the bait. Let's see if something can come up on the other side of the hook. But it is Slight that will go fishing through the smoke and found a damn great white on the other side. Reeled in a fourth round for Boss.
I can't even fathom that is how he wins out on the clutch. Obi even reacted beforehand. Slight, out of pure instinct, flicks and finds it without a scope to be seen. Good God. That has got to be quite painful if you are an Akimbo player or fan, for that matter. Or Neo.
Oh, man. That's the type of stuff you want to see from Slight. That's great work. And one where this guy, when he burns hot, he is the brightest of his squad. Just got to get that ball rolling. Darty trying to feather a couple of these ecos back, and this one looks to be breezing by. This could be an easy effort out here against the Pistols.
Here, a lot going on around this one for the T's to just swarm and spread. Neo on only one.
One health, a dream. Deagle against 5 players. He could get cut by the glass right there. That's why he didn't go through. You've heard about this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
With the band-aids, the Neosporin at home. You'd be bandaging it up. Apparently, I just hit an unintended pun. That's actually the one I'll take full credit for. Neosporin. Oh,
You can't say I hit an unintended pun and then say I'll take full credit for it. You can't do both of those things.
That's exactly why I said it, little buddy. Yep.
What? Does that even mean? Make no sense, man.
Oh no, we're having too much fun. Semifinal. It's all during the eco, though. It's all during the eco. When these are the times in the broadcast where we do get to have fun. And now it's serious. Gun round time.
Fun?
Gun round time.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
This is like the first time we've casted in so long, Tony.
Producer is taking over now.
Oh no.
Mark's
Nuke up to a good dial. Oh goodness, it may have to be.
No sniper rifle for Neo might actually become a bit of a worry for me at some point in time, because as stated on Mirage, he really doesn't need it on CT side, but it just becomes a lot easier when he's able to work around a map and be such a reliability on the weapon to where his teammates can group up and he may be able to be left to his own devices. Oh.
Just tags out Neo. Burning bright, it connects a couple of shots through Mini. I'm just trying to back this off. Swing 4 through it. Now Obi gets a shoulder into ramp. That is dirty from Darty. And it's a clear call. Current stance for Akimbo may have to be in a situated one. They should get out with 3 of these rifles if they know what's good for them. Talking about wanting to get up that AWP. You can't afford that if you keep having to re-reach for those rifles where, you know, their minds have gone to. Of course, Boss denying that second on the pistol wasn't so good, Tony. They're going for this.
One already befallen. Laxi with the swing
No
beyond
kit.
the door side, exposed to the railing. Goodbye to the only player that was really able to bring them back into it. It would have been, is now Zamga's just too far strong. That smoke may cover him from Slight, but Snav had full vision onto the cross to the bomb, and despite him being on low health, it wouldn't really have mattered. And they pushed themselves deeper into this best of 3, perhaps Boss already giving me good reason to believe, but I've been there before. I've been disappointed and I've been let down, but 6 rounds on a T side, on a map of this semblance of a meta, I'm leaning in one direction pretty heavily even still now. Well,
It's easy to support a theory like that. I think it's going to keep tracking in a direction like this until we get this money right. And by the time that happens, the half is practically going to be over for Akimbo, excuse me. I mean, this 12 will go by fast. Here it feels like this Mirage kind of, even where you did have really good moments for Boss, they felt like the better team. It's just that Neo and Laxi, Pew Pew with some great impact to fade out of that game, were the better, team in the last 5 rounds to be, clear with how that does go. You can be the better team and lose the map pretty commonly. Here goes Slights. Just go ahead and actually Dr. Apple will be kind of a pressured. Thought it was a lobby crunch. Yeah, you have no more to go back from Hut, but that will be one that stings, Tone.
No more room to fall on. AK-47's triumphing over the pistols at point to where the A1S is tested, though. They will find theirs. Weapon to pick up if they'd like as well, but Zambga goes a-swinging. Batting for the fences and not even hitting outside of the first base line, but that is out of the park. Fought right between the teeth of Pew Pew. The HE of Fruit Cup finishes the job. A team ace and Boss looking like a team brought back to life.
This is really good work. Boss would love to grab themselves a easy map 2 to cruise it up for an Ancient. I'm sure they would love to take this whole tournament, Tony. You know, for the placement of which I think you have, you know, the 3 teams kind of, you know, interwoven with the, you know, moves that you had down, even, you know, considering what we were talking about with the roster conversations before, right? You do have that, you know, Moneyball Nouns roster, then getting signed to Blue Jays. They need a 5th player out here. Minus just stepped down, but it is living through the last dance, and here it seems like they're loving this tune on Nuke. So let's not bring up the sappy conversation for now. It's Minus's time to shine. Got a great couple of frags. Loving his 15 minutes.
Time to spring into action if Zambga does so, doubly so even. One lined up next to the other. The bodies will fall and the AKs will find themselves atop a body piled. And Zambga deepens himself, doesn't look to pick up one of those weapons. Instead, trusts that maybe Obi will get the slip on Darty with the op. Obi should have this one. His back is turned. No, he didn't even see him. He wasn't looking. He was tunnel vision, zoomed on Squeaky Door.
Ball probably goes a bit deeper. And Obi holds a line of scrimmage up top. Nobody is going to be stepping over this yard line. Not when he's indoor. Not when he has the AWP. Equipped like this. Great. Swiftly onto Snav. And now boxed out. Can't actually make a call here. But that smoke means that there's a little bit more of an opportunity to slip up the vent. And Zambga wants to continue to get active here. It's time. Knife pulled. And going to get that lane to actually get this down, Tony. Waiting this to go. They're going to actually bottle this back up together within the hut.
Zambga's going to move. Oh, there's a smoke. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, that's going to stall them out for too long a time, I think. Obi's going to have to be a shotgun op at this stage, or at least expose the player on the back of the site as his teammate goes for the clear in the ends. As Obi could hit a quick scope, needs to get the kit as well. Tags through the wall, not going to finish, going to get the kill, needs to get the kit, timing up, maybe not. He's going to have to go for the full stick, and he's going to be very, very tight, but I think that he just has pulled through Obi with a beautiful finish to the clutch. An absolutely miraculous shot through the wall, but the second in finish is even better for it.
This could potentially be a lane. Hardware acquired on that AWP. Clutch in the pocket as well. And it's back into the hands of Neo here with a 7-5 still on the menu in this first half. Akimbo can always order more here. This is where Boss are looking to exactly get creative with their calls. There's a lot here that Snav can go and poke between with the distance that is all the way allotted so far, and it seems like you have Minus active within this. Fruit Cup maybe has slowed down a bit, but really hasn't had to get too involved. Laxi going to be pushing the bounds on this round. Minus an automatic. We'll see if this kill is denied. He goes down for it. This is still a problem. Laxi, he gets put on ice.
Cool off. Relax for a minute there. On the 3-3. Trying to push Fruit Cup deeper into the trenches. Might just have done so, but in reaction, Zambga and Pew 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 have done the same, but Fruit Cup continuing to find success one frag after another, and we've seen them pull back man disadvantages, and honest and truthfully, Zambga was there too. So maybe there's a chance yet, but Pew Pew Pew, he's only got an MP9. They've got themselves pretty much boxed in. Boss still being a little bit paranoid as to where the reaction will come, if there is one at all. Holding for the Heaven walkout. Would have been the proper call, would have been the right move, but does Fruit Cup just edge over top to see his head first? He doesn't, but he'll be given the luxury of the miss from Zambga first.
Teasing on the ladder, audible. Now really gonna have to sway away. You're not gonna get up that vent without being taxed. Likely gonna meet you here all the way outside. Potentially a rifle here that Pew can get away with, Tony. Not sure where he would actually find this within the dirt, but right now maybe counting his lucky stars to hold on to this MP9. Snap right behind on that corner, and now an AK.
No reaction. Another shot even coming through. As Pew 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 is forced forward, forced ahead. Nowhere else to go. He'll at least give up Fruit Cup the 4K to feel good about pushing us to an ancient Dom the cards. Is thought that there would have been actually a little bit more life in the CT side for Akimbo on this map, if nothing else. But seeing as it's fallen a bit flat, including deflating the performance that Neo is giving us, now the alarm bells start to ring. Utility game is on point, as can be seen as Fruit Cup nails it to where we're not missing window smokes any longer. And Minus has caught the timing just in as those smokes bloom to head down lower, and he may actually catch Laxi completely lackadaisical. Oh, he actually does fire off first, but
not today. Not an insta as, I mean, once turned up the temperature for Minus back kind of with the rest of us, but Snav with quite a shot onto Obi. That one will be rupturing all of the hopes for Akimbo and their protocols in these rounds. They ditch him to the side, and they just have a double rotation because it's for real for Boss down here on B.
Tap, not a full stick, door blown, no one to swing, not yet. Eventually they will be in for it, and Fruit Cup loses his life, and they lose the timing to put the digits in. And they also now lose an extra bit of utility in trying to recover it. That's an issue. That's going to be something that they'll look to abuse in moments to come. As Big Steppa holds for the single door swing. The double is held, blown by Darty to hold from above the railings, though. The Snav HP maybe not looking beautiful, but positioning as good as could be. This is a MP9 held once again in the worst possible position for it, and this is a very quick nuke, I will say, considering that we'd finished the last map just about 20 or so minutes ago.
Super one-sided. Akimbo, I guess, have the hopes of grabbing a second pistol on this nuke. They would have to get shifty with some Glocks, but I see two sets of dualies on the floor, Tony. That puts some doubt in my mind. Boss want to make sure that this is good to go in the second half. Scratch that. It's actually Akimbo to take 30 seconds to talk this out as we do turn the tides, but their minds might already be in ancient.
Gotta get a good pistol strike going here, man. It's one of the most important rounds. Top two, tied with pistol round one. Marky, if you're
is that like most important meal of the day type stuff?
Yeah.
Keep
Marky,
going.
If you're the IGL of Akimbo, what are you calling right now?
I'm not built for that, bro. Call Nard out here if you need a strat.
Okay.
I'm going out A. Wits about me. Hey man, I might as well put on that headset for Akimbo, get the play sheet on the sidelines, because here they are. That's why you don't hire me though. It's Boss that read it like a book. They got 10 rounds. Lickety split.
There's layers to this.
I'd be like Mike McCarthy for a Counter-Strike team.
Yeah.
Not what you want.
Banger from Darty on a turnaround game from what was a bit of a difficult affair on Mirage, given that his roles don't really offer many a time for him to get active, especially on the CT side when A was under search and seizure with really no perfect response from him. No really easy way of going about it. Eagle eats the HE as well as peppering from Minus through the backside of the box. It will sponge up a majority of the penetration, but even then, deepening their hold. 2 rifles only, so you don't want to give them up at any turn if possible. Losing Darty, losing your ramp player, and losing a key portion of the map may cause them to go snapping back, and up through the steps you'll see that they will, and Neo actually fending off Slight in that moment gives them more room to breathe. Until they get chokeholded. Choke held.
tight up top. Snap with an empty 9. Boss going through the motions. Got these kills down. Not too hot on these Deagles. Not until Neo turns it up. And it's just 2 casualties that Akimbo take away. Maybe quick onto the path right to Nuke. It's by that they're going to get to go right forward on Tony. It was a clutch that kickstarted the things on Mirage. Just takes a little bit of adrenaline, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know about this, though.
Yeah, I just mean at some point on this Nuke, it just never came. A big moment.
Oh, yes.
Something to give them a little bit of energy.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I think the conversation around maybe like the puggy nature of this team, I think goes hand in hand with a conversation of energy, the mood, how they're firing.
Yeah.
Start off high, now it seems to be on ice. Hot
No
damn.
way.
Outside.
Dude.
We wish we could have saw that at a slight POV.
Yeah, I wish our observer was even remotely capable of doing his job.
Oh my gosh.
Joking,
This
I
guy's
saw that there was a
ridiculous.
player topside mini, though, and the dual Berettas were pulled by Slight in that moment, and he didn't even look to escape. He wanted to duel him on the headshot angle and won, given barely any support, maybe some sound cues from teammates to leave him, I don't know, distorted. Nothing really mentioned, but Darty to go down at the ramp again. Dealt with, pew, 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 opens a way down to the lower site, but another kill would have been better for it. The bomb needs to cross, calling back Laxi and needing him to shoot off into Fruit Cup. They have gotten them actually a reasonable clutch potential in one, playing to the backside of the site as the door has been swung. It's Midas to go from left and right sides of it.
Great work down on the back of the site. The Marshallist Town for 2 more series on Boss. Last dance here for Minus on this squad. Wants to doctor up the reverse sweep, and they do quite a convincing job here on that first notch back. Unless Akimbo got enough in the tank to run this back 9 rounds to overtime once again. What are the odds on that?
Probably pretty low, Mark. Probably pretty low. Burst out,
Take
though,
a
with a
statistic
Desert Eagle
class or
shot to
something?
the head. Minus, the guy who had doubled them in the last round. You know, that's a start.
I'm trying to just pull this down. All right. Fruit Cup from up top. Dishing it down. Looking like Nick's on the Argon train. Beautiful work raining down Hellfire right there. This is great work for Boss to lick all that down and send it to the poster. 13-3. They might get there before Ancient, and exactly that. It will be Boss that are going to be carrying on from that defense. They get to go and get that start that I think most Ancient teams desire.
Trying their hardest to make the grade. Smoke for Neo. Flash on the back. It's going to be grouped up, not with the trio, but instead at the bottom sides of the ramp. Playing Protect the President right now are Akimbo and trying to work their way up. The Secret Service slide their way forth. And outwards goes the only utility is mentioned, and they're looking to make the best of it. Here comes one player tucked in toward the cubby. It's Big Steppa, Big Slight. Snav on the other side of him as well. A crossfire set in place, and Long as well. Not isolated is that position. There's no utility there, but it won't come to matter.
Finding this bomb, starting 1v3. Not an impossible task, and the point at which you can see him side to either work and continue exactly how successful he was on Nuke as an individual, just seen with the jiggle. And unfortunately, looks like he will fold. It is Akimbo to go ahead and grab that. It's a good start that they would like to have. It's fire that they need to catch on this third map, Tony. Do you disagree?
I would have to agree, yeah. I mean, these guys are, you know, a little bit behind on where we'd come to anticipate them in getting the ball rolling. On the shots that we saw them hitting on Mirage, an absolute drought on the second to where everyone on Boss was trouncing them time and time again. It had felt there was never really a moment where they'd gotten their heads above water, but here, we got a little bit, just a little bit to work with.
buy back up for Boss. They'll take a chill pill here. Go ahead and get the stab back out. Body's out the problem. And this will hurt. Neo gets to actually roll 2 of those to himself. We'll get off to a hot start here on this map. Pew with a map 10. Unfortunately, Slight is no match. 2-0 go for Akimbo.
We've got a beautiful spread right now for Boss to reintegrate onto Ancient, though. Trying, without any utility, without any armor, to find a place on this map physically to hold the line for long enough. Getting a little bit aggressive towards Donut, but Fall Away still very much so available, and Snav, King of the Cave, once again, making it happen, and without even vision being needed, finds himself the opening duel, and time to where now Akimbo may have a lot to work with, but not enough. Not for my money, at least. Not when Snav knows that you're laying it down all across the B shelf, and there's been very little to stop them. The smoke towards mid-house, there's something.
Snav in a really good spot right now. Has Boss prepared for what's to come on B. Waiting for that smoke to currently fade up top. Laxi readies his kit to go. It's going to have to be potent from Pew right away. Darty head turned, and this is where it is taken over. Neil has to go through his teammates, and unfortunately, that will be where the numbers lie. We'd love to have him alongside now. All out to OB alone. The IGL to make it happen. Minus tries to just slightly widen the gap through the smoke. Refreshes and it fades away. There's no evidence here that you can go ahead and get this done quickly. Bomb picked up. And now Slight on that back end, Tony. And Minus giving him the respect. It is up to OB's testament right now to make this happen.
Yeah, he's got just enough to work with to where that respect being given over to his teammate might actually come back to bite him. Now, a molly tossed. I believe it will have gone towards long and spotting the one short. The tap, not actually a full stick to where Slight bites. And he'll take that one. A freebie left to the floor, armor to be reinvested upon, and weapons to be tossed. It's Boss who are online. It's Ancient that they find at least a little bit in the early days to push back Akimbo, not only in terms of the round count, but financially now, and even eye to eye, as 2 SMGs are invested from both pairs, make it a third from Boss. That extra $1,000 that Slight needed to invest kind of hurt his chances of being able to drop over another rifle to anybody else, but you know, you'll have to do what you gotta do to make things work, and certainly deserving of the right to use that sniper rifle to where that weapon in his hands as opposed to a rifle more often than not will give them an exponential boost to the round win potential. I mean, the same can't really be said for someone like Neo, who is pretty stellar on an AK-47 most of the time, but, you know, not given that chance now, still left to his own devices, as this series has shown that he's very capable of, at least on Mirage. This time, not so much. Goodbye.
Great positioning by Slight right now. With it all to give, and just quick all the way down, and Minus in between is going to have to be pristine. A beautiful second headshot that he puts up into house. Laxi, when a 1v4 trickles out, and the highest rated player from Akimbo is decked. This is Boss, who now have 2 AKs on their side. Minus recovers the AWP here. This should be a scary signal sent to Akimbo, who are now reset.
That was their Hail Mary and trying to get back for it. Now that's where the scary thing comes in. That's where the prospect of Boss having no shortage of utensils required to cook something nice up. Nade beyond the incendiary the area that'll stop them from pushing deeper in towards mid, and the smoke inside of it as well to relax. He eats another, a third even if there would have been needed. No, it's a flash instead, but a shot from the top side of Shelf. Snap shows no fear, and neither does anybody else on this map as they hold their lines, and Slight just waiting, begging for the shot to come through from Neo at a main, but now stuck to the big box. Does he call for help? He's low enough to the point where he should be able to handle himself and stays afloat to figure out his only needed kill for this round. Rest of the onus is on the rest of the guys at B. The boys, if you will.
The boys. Fruit Cup and Darty. Back to back. Molotov in the pockets of Darty as well. This may come in handy here. Fruit Cup too far for that stab. And they give him the respect on that distance. It's all a ploy. Make them feel comfortable, and then the rug is going to get pulled. Contact made, long range on the Tech 9 won't work out, but that's actually the underbelly of a setup like this. You could just get lost in the sauce, and you are just blind, and it is Fruit Cup that will just take it and pull it over the line. It is the bleed back to boss.
Shout out to Slate also for setting up all the utility from behind him, chaining the flash to blind anyone who wanted to take the duel, and Obi, no hope, whether it be in his chamber or in his eyesight. And Fruit Cup feels free. Take 3 in more ways than 1. The round, the kills. Okay, or maybe just 2 ways, but you get the idea. Trying to think of a third elaborate thing. Map, perhaps?
It's up to you, my friend.
They're so stacked in mid right now, and I like to see it from Boss. They're going to be very mid-centric, hoping that they take the A site, or rather just asking that they do. Given that they want this. This is what they've bargained for in the game plan. Darty, though, he's got to be careful that he doesn't let his teammate Top Shelf die, because that player will be seen first. And yes, he does get dinked, but not killed, as Darty will activate. But Bell rung from minus, figured out and finished. Spray is decent for a first, and damage to convert, and honestly better than I would have anticipated from the mid player to anchor it down. And Fruit Cup's just left A site open, and for good reason.
The bomb's got to go far, though.
Don't care.
You can't get a kill too quickly from Donut. A middle player may come back, but had seen Snav sit so comfortably within Cave. It was just donned in a Fruit Cup's crosshairs before. Back on B. Knife pulled for Zamga. Rookie moves. He is just going to be exposed. And Pew on 8 HP between 2 healthy members, Snav and Slight, are going to be so tough to separate, but good thing the hard part's already been done. It's 1v1s you can take onto both lanes, but this rifle walks its way in. Contact made, and Snap takes an easy kill.
You know something small and stupid that I've gotten better at lately that I'm proud of?
I don't think it's stupid.
No.
But what?
Oh, thanks, Mark. Is being able to pick up the bomb without having to actually physically look for the bomb with my eyes. Like, I can just glance at the minimap much better than before and just walk around holding angles and pick up the bomb. Because you see how Pew Pew Pew, like, kind of, like, had to, like, you know, surveil the ground to find the bomb?
Yeah.
I've trained my eyes to look back up at my minimap quickly and then get much better at actually being able to hold my angle and focus on it whilst picking up the
And so, like, you're already past your playing
clutches
career.
lately.
Let's be correct. That's great. I think it's going to be great here for Snap to just have the ball in between right here, as it's just going to be netted by minus, and then Fruit Cup gets one kick after all. It is fresh for Boss.
I can't tell you how many clutches I've lost
more.
because I was looking for a bomb, though, like with my crosshair, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
did you catch what I just dripped in right behind that, though?
Yeah, that was good.
No freshie. No way.
What's up with that?
The last link. Put onto Blue Jays. With the last Blue Jay.
They're a dying breed.
I hear about this.
I hear about this.
Kind of your birds, man. But no, I mean, that was a guy for so long that was, I mean, just so damn good at the little things, all the back end issues. And right here, I feel like that, you know, that's a reason why the Blue Jays organization wanted to hold on to him. You know, don't quite know how that exactly did trickle down, but you know, once this tournament's over, there's going to be a good month to refresh, Tony, and we'll, find out how this all flattens out. But here we still got
Refreshy.
dust to. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boosted, Box, not having spotted the head up, head down
Weird
from
laugh.
Fruit Cup, but you better believe that he spotted you. It's going to be good information to know that 2 players sit at the bottom of those B ramp. And okay, Laxi, initial decision. Snav, the one to swing down low on the opposite ends of the smoke as well. He wasn't seen initially, but still killed nevertheless. Fruit Cup knowing that he needs to be a bit of an activation player here, and that's questionable from Laxi, maybe, even knowing that they had that much space. Maybe he got a bit too big for it, because 3 versus 3 now is one that they will give a look into, boss.
They need Slight in here. They need him now. He's got every piece of utility in the entire universe. And he's prepping it. Send him in, boys. Got 1 flash. I got 2 now. Gonna be fully blind here on that site. Obi is gonna be in the red. What a pass by Neo, and he just goes for the head on Fruit Cup. 3 for Akimbo here. This has good energy about it. They can continue this. They just cut off the head of the 5 rounds in a row. It's a good recovery.
I do concur.
Indubitably.
Yep. Holding on to dear life are the Akimbo boys now, to where Hero plays in moments that may have just been a little bit too far stretch. This one didn't look to be that whatsoever for Neo, who found his timing and made good on it. Clean as can be. Snav towards shelf has been smoked. There's a molly on either side of those boxes to stop there from being any shenanigans going on in that way. So now, he pulls all the way back out towards the site. Their split is still pretty pressed towards that A mid lean, but a little more so in the late round, I believe, but going for the re-aggression. The Cubby is not going to be cleared at all, and that is majorly problematic, seeing as Minus has a Deagle and it was Slight who had gotten the kill, and this is just going to be another one offered up on a silver platter.
Yep. Just like that. It might be Minus.
Elbow.
If he could get a couple more kills, that could be a gold standard. It's a good stab back by Zamga. He was trying to look for a little bit more down there on B when the posture was so passive up top. It's just not meeting the vibe of the rest of Boss at the moment. That's why Akimbo are going to be maybe a little off kilter for that notion. They don't know what to think. There's no real face on the front of this site. Darty and Fruit Cup again playing far back, rather Snab and Fruit Cup.
And they can afford to do so. But you like to see some serious levels of discipline being put through, because they're okay with playing for the retake, and Slight, as per usual, the one to wonk it back and try and set up for utility, but maybe a little bit of that to be tossed from Darty as well. A post could be nice, a gap over the smoke to which Obi could be exposed. He will be seen, and Zamga, he's going to have to be the trap card activated because he's tucked. He's playing on a corner angle where once they walk into his line, he's going to have to find a one to give room to another player to fight through, reasonably speaking, especially with retake smoke perfectly deployed. And a spam onto the lineup. It will be one for
Oh, that's perfect!
He will find him, but right back to it is Snab. Wastes no time in making the decision to shoot back. Doesn't panic, and absolute stoicism will prevail.
Snab is good on that spam. There was one time on LAN at the first LAN I ever casted, back in the day, like a year and a half ago. At Frag Congo 2023, when they were badass gaming. He got like a double spam there. It was legitness in the grand final. Semifinal.
I mean, maybe it's glazed, but genuinely, watching Snab play Cave on an Ancient is really cool.
You're glazing. You're glazing.
I really do like watching
He's pretty damn good at the spot. In all seriousness.
Smoke for house. Standard issue. Slight. Sniper posted for the close cross. Nothing really. Oh,
what?
Okay, I was going to say out of the ordinary going on, but that's a little extraordinary, if you will. Neo removing Minus, who didn't even have a chance in this round whatsoever. That's got to be a little bit unfortunate, but if there were ever a player to bring back, let it be known that it's Snav on that B site once again. Taking down one and going even further beyond that. And honestly, how could you expect an aggression like that? When you're a 4v3, that's a little bit risky, but I actually kind of respect the balls on him to go for it, knowing that there's no way they're going to be holding for expecting him to walk through his own smoke.
Yeah, not expecting that either. Laxi not prepared. Zamga not ready for the force. A great showing. A full house between Fruit Cup and Snav. 7 rounds here for Boss. And they're loving it. In the middle of Ancient.
In the middle of Ancient. Our house. It's been a ride for Akimbo following that first map, it must be said. And we thought there was something more in the tank, something stored, but not really yet seeing that once again unleashed. The nitrous has been pumped out. We know that, certainly at least in this point, Obi's come to play, and Neo, some semblance of that form shown once more, but the Laxi that we'd come to know, the one who's given a lot of the conversation, a lot of the room and discussion, hasn't really been there. And this round, he won't be either. A tag from Slight, and he'll be wise to fall off and away, knowing that they're a man up and in, and Minus caught with a flash from a teammate that didn't hit quite as well as I think that Dirty wanted it to, because the vision on Pew 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 is fully there. Maybe it was a bit of a free-hander.
On the run. Made the lateral quickly. Here it's a deep pass into the site. Lining up a couple. Snavin's already back to back. Ready to go. Got to cross their face before they make it to the final.
There he is.
And it's Darty that continues.
Oh.
Ooh, almost nets the triple right through the door. Obi alone, set it up. It could be perfect, but it is cold. Out from Slight. In 8 rounds they posted in this first half. They're not done yet.
Sensing a little bit of deja vu here, Marcus. A little bit of that map 2 action where they'd found the 9-3 lead. And honestly, I think that an 8-4 is... I think a 9-3 is even recoverable for Akimbo, not to close the door on conversation. But an 8-4 would be, like, not nice, but certainly where communications need to still be on the up and up in some capacity. You know what I mean? Like, there still has to be some semblance of vibes going on in the guy's camp. But Laxi, I mean, his vibes seem to be out the window, dude. 2 and 12, and he's not able to pick it up. Fighting through Molotovs, intending to find timings onto players who aren't ready for the swing, but Snap full ready, following the fact that he lobbed an HE. There was a second, but second is not enough. In Counter-Strike time, it may be something wrong, but a second is all that it'll take for a spray to be put together at a medium to short distance for Minus. 3 in the round overall, and on 1 HP, he's arrived.
Love to see it from Minus. Our former MVP of Series 1, a champion of Series 1, beat Snav in Series 1. Now he's joined him.
If you can't beat him,
beat
well,
him
if you can beat them, join them.
There you go. Another peek in, stab back by Pew, and add it to the highlight reel. We got a little bit more to give. This one's in color, and it's beautiful. How is it possible? Pew, pew, pew on the 4 heads, and Akimbo got 4.5.
Might need to add a 4th pew to that one, the way that the bullets were leaving the chamber there. Everyone receiving a bit of the action from the man, the myth, the newest member onto the block in some way, shape, or form. And showing.
That's the adrenaline. That's the spark, Tony. We're online for this. This is
back.
What we had
We're back. Mirage. That's what we had in Mirage.
If we're in the 3rd map, you might as well send that comeback forward. Can Boss ice it out here with a big pistol? Hit him with the tsunami wave. Kill of the mood. Yep, that was another team in this tournament. Yeah, man. I can get more creative than that. Don't you worry.
Creativity flourishes amongst these calls. Maybe not so much right now. A pretty standard A-site walkthrough. Darty with no clear to the big box. Leaves them a little bit strung up in between these angles to where everybody's arrived on the scene in the right time. And that is exactly what the doctor had ordered for Akimbo, now feeling their illness to begin to fade.
Yep, symptoms starting to go away. I'm looking at my charts. I'm flipping them around. Spinning
Dr.
in my
Mark,
chair.
what's your diagnosis?
let me get my white coat on before I say anything. I need to act like a professional. Look, Tony, I may need to prescribe something for boss here. I'm looking across my charts.
My professional
For some
opinion,
reason, they're
we're
at the
so
same
effing
appointment.
back.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I have my half a swear jar right here because you did bleep it.
Yeah,
That was
half a
appropriate.
swear jar. What the heck is
Dude,
that?
Launders swears on blast, so I say you give it a rip.
Well, it is an M-rated game.
The bosses will get mad at you, not me. Don't actually do that. That's a joke.
Let's do it. Minus as Desert Eagle now sees the smoke fade, anticipating somebody to get a little bit aggressive on the other sides of it, and who else but Laxiu's yet to frag in the last, what, 10, it would feel? I mean, that's got to be so demoralizing, and leaving that gun to the ground there is just a little bit of ways away to where Mr. Fantastic would have to appear into the server to reach for it, but maybe not Mr. Fantastic, but Minus Fantastic enough. This pistol is pulling them apart. This can't continue.
No, it can't. It would be the icing on the cake for boss beginning of this half. Akimbo, they got it so sweet on that turnaround right here. It may be Zamga that you need to stop. I may still, my heart may still be in Austin.
A little bit of that twang pulled over in the broadcast, and Darty's going to whip out the pistol.
Unbelievable scenes.
Needs to hit a real ringer. Pew, pew, pew. Took back
Oh
in,
my
waiting
God.
his arrival. Absolutely bounced. But not done yet. Fruit Cup continuing to ring bells. Elby plays it from a distance. Has to be a little worried. A player that's been absolutely perfect, it feels, from map 1 to 2 in the third. It could have been. But a distant vision is something we won't get. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's a one-time thing, probably.
That was excellent.
It's probably the one and only
That was
time.
excellent. You ought to put that in your caster reel you're baking up, I hear.
And I'll start doing like a bunch of different accents and pulling
I'm not sure everybody would like that.
I'll be like, I can be British. Please hire me. Please, I can be British. I swear. Make them gaslight them into thinking I'm European.
Tomorrow morning, Trav, Naokai, all of European Counter-Strike just show up at your door. Yeah, we're gonna have a problem, buddy.
Ooh, NA nades from the Mongolian mastermind, and goodbye to Neo, and hello to a man advantage on a lesser buy force. Stuff it in! Slight is exactly the same. Cave is his. Denied is any sort of entry point from Akimbo, who now need Obi to step up and hit a home run. As Slight, he's been the one to find the first and second. A third, a little bit too far of an ask, or maybe not. Damage in, Obi's low, HE into the smoke, and they've got the sight. End the round. Good lord.
That was comedic timing on that to go ahead and finish so quickly. They wipe him off on that rain, and yeah, that clutch, that pistol, everything balled up and 3-point ranged into the recycle bin. Boss are now back up.
We up.
It's an exciting one, you're right. This is a force in from Akimbo that I don't know if I completely expected. I feel like I would have been comfortable seeing their next gun round when you do have 10 in the hands of boss right now. We'll see who's actually too spicy. It's Fruit Cup right here. Too sweet.
Minus has been given a pretty easy task, given the foresight that we have. And nobody is in this site. There's one much deeper in towards Donut. Maxi had a rough go at it, but there's the third, baby. The curse has been broken, uplifted, and revitalized. Could he very well be? Is this the time he drops 30? Is this where he elevates himself to that next level Akimbo will need? Yes, I think so, dude.
See how your prediction pays off.
Here it comes, all through the smoke. Ready?
Oh my God! Wait, you're seeing something that I'm not.
The vision.
That was
I'm seeing the Vincent.
Shout out to Production pushing the buttons tonight. We have Vincent. We've had a bunch of beautiful faces back here. If I can spit it out on Production. Shout out to Dust 2. Shout out to Tony.
Hey, what's up, man?
I like that guy. Was listening to Purely and Buckethead the other night. They were sounding pristine. Quite a Rasta Castus we got here. They both have really nice mustaches, and I got nothing.
Pistols for Akimbo, given that you had mentioned in the last round that they've thrown everything against the wall and hoping it would stick. Instead, it slid straight down. Now Boss with old reliable V-walk. Okay, keep your guns, boys. There's only so much left to be clear before you can feel safe and sound. As Minus will go down, it's Snav who finds his third and makes this round his own. Doesn't really need to do a whole lot of more heavy lifting, though, as everybody else can have
My gosh.
a piece of the action. A fourth will be sweet, though, to find himself at the top of the server at 17 and 10.
Yeah, there was just something that particularly poked Snav personally, putting out 2 huge maps in a row. Keeping on this pace, you're going to see another 13 into a 6, into a 13-3. That would be 9 rounds they would give up on 2 maps. Akimbo, I think they got more to give here, but they got more money to spend if they lose this, right? That's where we track those books right here. It's not going to be flaming along for too long.
Oh, what a stack and what a read. See you later, Neo. Hello to a beautiful way forth in the B site again and again. The slight leaves no stone unturned in cave. Swing wide. Good riddance to what has been a nuisance for these players of Akimbo for a couple rounds now in that same space. This time, though, they don't let it overcome them. They don't let it overwhelm them. Laxi still on track to recover for that 30 bomb. That's his 3rd kill in 2 rounds. I'm noticing a pattern. Just imagine it now, Mark. 7 rounds in a row, 7 aces. Or rather, it'd be 6 rounds after this. 6 aces.
We would be in the Counter-Strike history books. For all the greatest reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, Minus and Darty still have a chance at this. Full belt on Darty, something we've seen before, a reoccurring
it's
theme
all
from
going to be
Boss.
coming back through spawn here. I'm not loving this, especially with him having another Molotov. If he had a smoke, I would really be worried.
Oh, no!
That's going to be cool. All on to Minus. Let's see if he can be the marshal of this ancient. Put all of Akimbo into cuffs. He's got a couple of bogeys on the other side, but he was worried about how many perpetrators he could fit in the back of his car. Sam hops onto the bomb, and law enforcement will lay off for 1 more round.
Did you just call them perps?
Perpetrators.
Seven in. Damage inflicted. Will be recognized by Akimbo. The FAMAS. I don't think I've seen a single FAMAS all series yet.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
I don't think I've seen a FAMAS kill. I don't name one.
Name one. That's gaslighting. That's actually gaslighting.
There it is.
We've told our couples therapist about this in the morning. It goes a nice shot, opening frag, and it hasn't been Boss completely up to 12 yet, but shots like this will help them get there. Laxi finally cooking him up now. A triple that he has just stirred up in this round. This may be the way forward.
Yeah, well, 2 more kills, and the prophecy's been foretold, and the simulation realized, activated as Laxi, and another in mid and HP, still very much so in their favor. Minus, though, still giving them a run for their money and giving them some decisions, and the hard ones at that, to make. Their spread, a 1-1-1. Leaning more heavily towards mid. Have to get the C4, into which now Minus will double back for. Quiet. Let the round breathe. Just under a minute on the clock. Mark, the waters are waving, and Snav, he may be the only real possibility they have into this site, seeing as he has to be the first point of contact with Zamga on the backside of Brick.
This fight night, Tony. And this one worth its weight. Not quite for the title, but worth the extra couple of rounds it takes. This 3rd map, you're going to get the most of it here in the back end of Akimbo. To come up with 19. This is not only this round 19 on the board here for Boss, but it's also the money. And that's where you get into the business. All of us to the Marshal for another attempt, and he can't make it happen with the spray transfer. It's all gone for Akimbo. They power up. A full house between Laxi and Zamka now. They are bringing their best at the end here in Ancient.
Yeah, all chips on the table, all in for Akimbo on that same analogy you're putting forward right now, man. They've got nothing left to lose. It has to be everything, and they need to meet it, boss. They've got more to offer, at least they did, and they lose. The side pot now, the only availability for them to earn anything back, and their loss bonus accumulating it 8 to 11. They're going to have to wait a sec. 11 to 9. The gloves are off, Mark. Prophecy will be foretold.
Neo opening frag. Fades away, and now you're gonna have to get more. Neo with bodies to stack. Knee's got a triple. Neo, they're just gonna keep feeding him, and they give him a 4K. Not the man you want to be seeing getting heated in the kitchen now. It is Akimbo that rolled a 9, and with their chef looking exactly that sharp, Tony, this is something to embark fear into Snav and Co. But they don't worry for a second. They just immediately buy back.
That's all you can do. I mean, kind of harkening back to the same point I had made from the unfortunate round that Slight had. This is now an unfortunate set of circumstances for Boss to just go round by round. Forget what happened in the last and focus forwards. Eyes set on the prize. Once more towards A, but leaning in towards Donut, just a little heavier and beyond to see and scope if nobody had gone deeper entrenched. No one by. Shelf soon to be worrisome, perhaps, but he's got a teammate in Zamgo who's at least listening. But the wider he goes, the more exposed he will be. And there goes a big piece to this defensive that otherwise I haven't really seen too many a time they be gapped so widely.
Just the man that threw up a 4K. I'm going to confirm exactly where he was at. I think it was somewhere of like 11 to 13 deaths, but sitting at like 2 and 11 at some point on that first half, right?
2 and 13, I remember the
last.
last.
2 and 13.
Maybe even 2 and 13 is the last I remember.
Now taking over the game, thrown out of this. Now this B site is going to be ripe for the taking. Sam gets smoked out. Boss, they have the respect for a bomb plan at a bare minimum. You save these guns potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard question to answer right now. I think so. It's easier to answer, excuse me, and harder to call. Zamka gets a kill. He gives them some hope. Damage is dished. Slight's feeling low. The spam is real good. The 3v3's on. 2 players known. They get wider and wider in these peaks, and more hope instilled into the players. But a 4K for Fruit Cup as he turns attention from left to right and all the way down the center. He'll split them and match Ancient and Series Point.
That Fruit Cup X right on the spot of this third. 3 in a row by Akimbo, and that candle might be blown out. It's MP9s, a couple measly pistols, and 1 AWP to lead the pack. Neo was so gracefully tapped out of the round and was, even going to be rotations away from that B hit. That could be in mind again. It's not going to be so fast, but Minus is quicker. Yeah, that's Neo tapped out again. And probably for the last time, you're going to see him alive here in Series 2. A stab back by Laxi. It's good to go, but they can just feel it here on B. The bomb within their grasp, Tony. It's green grass as soon as the smoke fades.
Well, on the other side, it's always greener, you'd think, Mark. But let's not get too hasty now, because these pistols have done damage. These players have done work with less. Necessarily recently, but recency bias cannot let you be blinded by the fact that these guys are still firing off. A smoke to long, a vision to short, also short-lived, and now a spam through the smoke. That may be the determining factor. Yeah, Laxi, wow, situation settling in. EMP2, they jump it on through, and there's nothing to be done. There's nothing to be seen. A Zamka historical clutch required, and no vision needed from any of the boss players when it comes to getting kills. 13 to 9, and a grand finals berth in Series 2.